Hello, Head Start. Happy April. Happy spring. I've got my yellow on to celebrate a little more daylight, a little warmer weather. I know I'm ready for it. I'm sure you are too. As we get started, we're going to do our love note. And in honor of the Week of the Young Child, which is April 2nd through April 8th, I want to send a big love note out there to all of our early Head Start staff. The Week of the Young Child spans beyond age 3, but for the purpose of this vlog, we're going to really hold up those early Head Start staff who bring those new babies into the program and support them and their families up through age 3 and really lay a foundation. And I hope you'll celebrate the Week of the Young Child, not just on your own, but in collaboration with all of those programs in your community that support young children, including your public schools and your other childcare programs. Come together around this and really raise awareness to the importance of what we do with our littlest members of our community. But this month is actually National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about this issue. National Child Abuse Prevention Month raises the issue of child abuse and brings some attention and awareness to something that is so important. And of course, we know at Head Start, we take the issue of child abuse, child maltreatment very seriously. And I wanted to break this down into something really simple for the purpose of this message. And I think you can see four major areas to consider based on the Head Start performance standards. And I'm not going to read the standard number out to you. I'm just going to give you the topic. You can look it up. It's pretty easy to do on eClick. But it's important to think about safety practices, for example, making sure that facilities, equipment, background checks on the folks you're hiring, even hygiene is part of child wellness. And so we want to look at all of these factors, both in your program and as children go home, and paying special attention to make sure those things are of a high standard and that children are getting the care that they need and deserve. Standards of conduct are another area that can impact a child's wellness and therefore could be considered abuse or maltreatment. Things like policies and procedures, making sure you have procedures in place that support your staff so they know how to behave. What does the standard of conduct look like? Don't assume people know. It's got to be clear. Making sure that you're doing that with dual language in mind. If you're hiring folks for whom English is not their first language, make sure they're getting those messages in a language that will be very apparent to them and they won't have any trouble understanding. I think one of the things we need to remember when we work with adults is that even though they are adults, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of your procedures and standards of conduct are going to be clear. Make it clear so there's no question. Training and professional development is also a big piece of making sure that children are taken care of and that we're thinking about the potential for child abuse or maltreatment. Things like program policies can impact this, but other training like classroom management, working with children with special needs, helping staff to be confident and prepared to respond to potential behaviors that might not feel typical to them, and especially in a moment of stress, because working throughout a program day with young children can be very stressful. And oftentimes what we see is incidents of maltreatment are really a moment where an adult just didn't know how to react to something, and their innate response ends up being something that is dangerous for a child. So preparing our adults to know what to do in those situations is really important, and making sure they have the support. So if they get to a moment where they really feel like they're not sure they can control themselves, that there's a way to remove themselves from that situation and get support. We're just human beings, but preventative uh, behaviors are really what matters in this situation. So really looking at your training and professional development, and that loops to the fourth one, which is to me the most important, and that is the mandated reporting and child abuse and neglect training that is required. Um, this speaks to my heart as a former public school leader. All of my staff had to take mandated reporter training. They had to understand what a mandated reporter was, and the definition of that is everyone in your program. Anybody who has the potential to cross paths with a child and suspect child abuse or maltreatment is a mandated reporter, and that is a lot of responsibility. So without appropriate training, you can leave folks to be unsure what to do, and that can lead to bad outcomes. They need to feel confident about how to behave. Make sure that they understand this requirement under the Head Start performance standards. And then also, there's training out there. We actually offer, as part of our Head Start basics, is a whole section on maltreatment and mandated reporting. And the biggest thing to me, just as a former school leader, is that folks feel confident about coming forward if they suspect something. They don't feel nervous that someone's going to judge them or that they're making an accusation. Remember, mandated reporting does not mean that you are directly accusing anyone of anything. That's not our job as mandated reporters. Our, our job is simply to report. And then the folks who are trained to do those investigations will do them. That is in the best interest of children always. And sometimes that can be very difficult. It can be scary. And it's important as a leader that you're supporting your folks and they know that with confidence that they can come to you. That's probably the most important of the four that I'm going to talk about. So I hope you'll take this time during National Child Abuse Prevention Month, raise awareness to your staff, raise awareness to your parents, raise awareness to the community. Head Start is a hub for all of these kinds of resources. Be strong and be that hub for your community. All right, so in case you didn't know, let's end our vlog with a few tidbits. In case you didn't know, the Early Head Start Rising Summer Series is coming back. We did it for the first time last year. What a success. We had 6 weeks of incredible learning focused solely on Early Head Start. Check out NHSA's website and you'll see what our topics are going to be for this year. I think we're starting them in late May. They usually go till early July. And it's a great opportunity for those of you working in Early Head Start to get some special webinars just for you. Also, our national conference is coming up right here at the very beginning of May in Baltimore, Maryland. In person, we get to see each other and celebrate and sing and do all kinds of fun stuff. So come see us. And then, of course, we have our Leads conference at the end of June, which will be virtual. I think Leads is going to be virtual moving forward. We kind of like that. And then I always like to just give you a little academy tidbit because that's my territory. So I'm just going to tell you that our CDA for infants and toddlers launched just about a week ago, and it is going so well. We now have a waiting list. So we're very excited to get this CDA off the ground. It was a heavy lift, but we worked really hard on the content because we wanted it to be special just for our Head Start folks. So check it out if you need some CDA training. You want to try it out with 1 or 2 of your people and see what you think. We're happy to support that. And without further delay, I will end this vlog and just wish you again a happy spring. And remember, Head Start is access to the American dream. Go make dreams happen.